In this video, we're going to look at how to solve limiting reactant problems. So just to review, limiting reactant is the reactant, what we're starting with, that limits, that stops the reaction. Okay, so it's when you're cooking and you run out of an ingredient. You can't make any more than that ingredient gives you. You can't make more cakes than you have eggs to make. That's your limiting reactant. Limiting reactant problem is basically just a couple stoichiometry problems smushed together, and then you have to think about how to answer it. So really, it's just some stoichiometry problems applied in a new way. So if we look at this very first question, it says if 25 grams of zinc and 30 grams of sulfur are mixed, what is the limiting reactant? Now, we know we're going to have to find the limiting reactant because it gives you a mass for two different things. Normally, we just start and we'd say, hey, we've got our number, let's convert. That's not the case here. Whenever it gives you two different numbers, you're going to have to figure out which one is your limiting reactant, because that is going to be the number you use for every other problem that may come along. So, there's a lot of flexibility here. There's a lot that you can do. I'm going to show you the simplest thing, but as we go along, I'll talk about other solutions here. So, very first thing, what we're going to do, we need to look at our equation, and just like before, we need to balance it. Lucky for us, it's already balanced, so we're good to go. Now, I'm going to start off with the zinc problem. It says 25 grams of zinc. It doesn't ask me, it doesn't tell me where I'm going. It doesn't say how many grams of ZNS am I going to make, anything. In some problems, there will be an A, B, and C question later on. You can use that. But for this case, I'm just going to go from 25 grams of zinc, and I'm going to go to ZNS. I'm going to go to my product. So I'm going to take my 25 grams of zinc, and I'm going to go to ZNS. So here we go. Fence post. We did our first one, write a balanced equation. Step 2, convert to moles. So molar mass and 1 mole. Molar mass of zinc, if you look on your periodic table, is 65.38 grams of zinc. And on top is 1 mole. If you know me by now, I'm very big on having your unit along with what we're talking about. So grams of zinc, moles of zinc. That way, we can cross them out. And now, I'm at moles of zinc. Great. Next step, if you don't remember, look back, use your coefficients to find the mole ratio. So, here we go. Even if you don't know what goes down here, it's always this unit. So moles of zinc, and I determined I'm going to moles of ZNS. It doesn't matter. I could have went to moles of sulfur. Really doesn't matter. So, in this case, both of our coefficients are 1. I'm going to plug in 1s. And you can stop there. You don't have to do step 4. Step 4 isn't necessary here because I don't care about how much ZNS I'm making. I care about which one of these two reactants is going to limit my reaction. So you can stop there. Now, if there was an A, B, C, and D part of this problem and it asked you for grams of ZNS, do it right now. Convert to grams of ZNS. But it doesn't. So we're going to stop here and I'm going to solve it. Stoichiometry can be a little flexible. You don't always have to do all the steps, but you always have to do step 3. So, like always, we're going to multiply across the top. We're going to divide across the bottom. If you go to plug this into your calculator, you end up with 25.0 times 1 divided by 65.38. Helps if I could type it in right. 65.38 divided by 1, and that gives you 0.382. Oh, no, not grams, moles of ZNS. So what that tells me is if I start with 25 grams of zinc, I can make 0.382 moles of ZNS. We're going to do the same exact problem now, except we're going to start with our 30.0 grams of sulfur. And here's the key. you have to go to the same thing. You've got total flexibility. You can choose to go to ZNS. You can choose to go wherever you want. But once you choose, you can't change your choice. So we're going to take 30 grams of sulfur and we're going to convert it to moles of ZNS. So same steps, we're going to divide by the molar mass, 32.066 grams of sulfur, 1 mole of sulfur. Our units canceled out there. I'm left with moles of sulfur. And then over here, the coefficient in front of sulfur is 1 mole of sulfur. And on top, it's the same. It's 1 mole of ZNS. My moles of sulfur canceled. I'm left with moles of ZNS. Voila! Go ahead and solve that. I think by this point, you should be able to solve these on your own. If not, maybe go back and practice some stoichiometry problems on your own. And when I solve this, I get 934 moles of ZNS. That's the basis. That is saying to us, if we start out with 25 grams of zinc, we're going to get 0.38 moles of zinc sulfur. If I start out with 30 grams of sulfur, I'm going to get 0.934 moles of zinc. Now the question though is, what is the limiting reactant? It's not this, it's not your answers here. It's a reactant. It's either zinc or sulfur. It's whichever one of those gives you the least amount of product. In this case, it's zinc, because zinc only gives you 0.382 moles, while sulfur gives you 0.93 moles. So the answer to this question, what is the limiting reactant, is purely just zinc. That's it. That's all you write. Limiting reactant is zinc. That's how you solve those.